my Christmas tree up probably the first week of December, and then we take it down on the 26th. Kev's like a lunatic. He wakes up.
You were one of those guys.
He's got that thing in the driveway, and he's like, clean this damn house, lady. Because, the pine needles, which, by the way, he doesn't say any of that.
You go real tree.
Like, clean it.
You go real tree.
Wait, you go fake?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are so soft. You are the softest podcasters in the business.
Oh, welcome into Scoop City on a Monday. We have the whole gang here. A lot went down week 9. How does that impact the way some of these top teams approach the trade deadline on Tuesday? We'll get to all of that. I am James Palmer. Don't forget to like and subscribe. What we have going on here with Scoop City. What we want to get to is Jayden Daniels' gross dislocated left elbow. We're going to get to the implications of that for the Commanders and a deep dive into that with Chase about why he was still possibly on the field. We'll also get to the Eagles make another trade ahead of the deadline. They were on a bye. Other teams played. Are they now in a better spot after everything that went down week 9, even with what they did off the field? And then lastly, Josh Allen and the Bills. They've been tremendous against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the regular season. What we saw on Sunday, could that change things about if they meet again later in this season? I mentioned the whole gang's here. We have the senior athletic insider for the NFL, Dianna Russini, with us. We have Chase Daniel with us. Oh, Chase, look at this hat. Look at this hat we got going.
Dodgers. I'm not a Dodgers fan whatsoever, but the fact that they just won back-to-back World Series. Mm-hmm. It's a great company, too. It's
I thought you were just like, yay,
quality. No, good quality human. They're awesome LA-based company.
Okay, got it. Hey, it was a tremendous day of athletics on Sunday. Anybody want to give a Sunday shout out before we go? Because I have one and I just created this now.
Shout out Cardi B. Cardi B showed up to Gillette Stadium, right? We know she dates Steph. Her and Stephon Diggs have been going strong. She's carrying his baby. She looks like she's ready to give birth any day. And how about this? I don't know if you guys saw, but they put her up on the Jumbotron, right? Mm-hmm. They were playing her music. Yeah, she was sitting in Kraft's box. God, Patriots are back. They're cool again. But I just thought it was so funny because Cardi was like up there and the crowd like cheered when they saw her. And I think she wanted a little bit more. So she was like, come on. And crowd was a little wilder. And then she hit him with the celly. And as soon as she did that, everyone went nuts. It's kind of become
seeing you do that is hilarious.
It's almost like she knows how to work a crowd. Chase, do you have anything from Sunday?
Let's go with somebody who doesn't get talked about in A blocks of morning shows, doesn't get enough credit, is as old as me, and that's quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. I don't think there's a dude playing better than him right now. Honestly, 21 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions, also almost 2,200 passing yards already. Like, I'm trying to go back and think about seasons that Matthew has had. I don't know if he's had a better start to the season than he has at any other spots than this season. So big shout out Matthew Stafford, Highland Park in the house. Clayton Kershaw.
I like that.
Right? Highland Park, Dodgers, all that stuff.
It's all James, circular. I get it. It's all circular. I get it. Good thing you put that out there because we're not even talking about Stafford. We're talking about teams that have question marks going into week 10 through week 9. I'm going to go with Joe Flacco. Could barely apparently lift the right arm throughout the entire week with the AC joint sprain and goes for 470 in what should have been a storybook game for the 41-year-old, going 31 of 47 with 4 touchdowns. But no, the story is the other side of the ball. Went wrong. It should have been a game where we all were praising Joe Flacco, so we'll try to do it there. Let's stick to the quarterback spot, and this is what we're hearing. Dianna, Jayden Daniels' injury. Gross, that's the first thing I want to say. Left elbow dislocation. Kind of put us where things stand right now for the Commanders. And does this change a team that was in the NFC Championship a season ago, where they stand for the course of the rest of this season, or maybe even for tomorrow with a deadline at hand?
I know. Wasn't this what we were afraid of when we were talking about this team coming off what was a spectacular first season? We kept saying, like, what is the second year going to look like? And we weren't even talking about injuries at the time, right? We were just talking about perhaps a sophomore slump now that the rest of the league kind of knows what Jayden brings. But look, the injury is significant. He's expected to miss a lot of time. We're going to learn more over the next 24 hours of what exactly this is going to be and how long he'll be out. But I can tell you the Commanders, they're bracing for a lot of missed time coming up, right? Does that mean the rest of the year? Possibly. Just texting with someone there this morning, they wrote "this sucks," right? But the S on the end of "sucks" was like there must have been about 15 of them, right? Because it's not even just Jayden, right? They've got injuries up and down this roster. We know that they're older, and I think we probably criticized them a lot, but we understood why they were doing it. A lot of it was culture based. And even spending time with them this summer. Remember, we talked to Dan Quinn a lot about what those guys bring, and it was a formula that really worked. But I think now you're seeing it catch up, and it's just a little bit of a black cloud over Washington for sure right now, James.
Yeah, Dianna, that was spot on, and I think 25 S's on the end of "sucks" would have been even appropriate. 15 was probably acceptable. 25 might have been fine. Chase, what everybody wants to know though, and you played this position, you've been part of these discussions about when you take your starter out of the game. Should Jayden Daniels still been in the game in your experience in the past in this league with the way that score was so lopsided?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's so easy. Hindsight's 2020, and you're going to look at it and you're going to be like, oh yeah, it's so easy to say that Jayden Daniels shouldn't be in the game. Well, yeah, I get that. And I'm not dumb enough, and I don't want our viewers to be dumb enough to understand like, hey, they have, and Dan Quinn has a job to do, and that's try to win and try to play head coach, right? And he does such a good job at that. He's one of the better leaders as a head coach I've seen. However, guys, it's a 4-score game. And that is a huge difference between a 3-score game. And that's sort of like the line of demarcation. Like, all right, if it's a 3-score game, we've seen some crazy stuff happen. You have Jayden Daniels, the way the Seahawks are playing, all that stuff, I get it. But when it gets to a 4-score game, and then at least tell your quarterback not to run. I mean, look, it's just a gruesome injury. It's an injury you don't see very often with you racing with your left hand and the elbow pops out. I mean, it was gross to watch, and I'm sure he will miss the rest of the year. I'm just, from a quarterback perspective, I don't know how you can put a guy back out there when probably there's ligaments involved, all that stuff, and I know we'll find out. But the first thought that came to mind, and I don't like to be the negative guy, is like, why in the hell is Jayden Daniels still in the football game? He's been injury prone. He's had a lot of injuries through this year, and let Marcus Mariota finish it off. I mean, it was 31-7 at the time. I mean, it's a 4-score game. So it's just interesting to sort of see that and then see the blowback a little bit on social media and stuff. And I know it's not an easy job for Dan Quinn to be like, all right, we're going to pull your starter, because it's pretty much you're giving up at that point. But at the same time, how hurt Jayden Daniels has been this year. And it's just, it's tough to see. It's tough to watch a quarterback who I think's top 10, top 8 in the league get hurt like that and just never really be himself this year.
Yeah, it was brutal. But, it's funny, Chase. We have seen certain guys, Jared Goff, Caleb Williams, Patrick Mahomes, guys that have been in very lopsided games even this year and stay in the game. It's always up to them about what they want to do. This is still a young quarterback. I think the injuries he's battled with this year is a great point that you made, that he's been kind of, trudging through those. Dianna, is there any sort of, I remember during draft time, there was a bit of a question going, Jayden's style of play, Jayden's build. Is that an issue getting into the NFL game in the NFL level? Do you think those questions now are even exaggerated with what we've seen in year 2 with Jayden Daniels and these injuries he's had to battle through?
Yeah, I definitely think there's conversation about the style for sure. In fact, I had one this morning about just someone in the league who made the exact observation you just did, which is this is some of the concern coming into the league that we brought up. And look, no one was saying this last year when he was succeeding and he was a little bit more of a mystery and this offense was running on all cylinders. But with that being said, I also think there's just a sensitivity when you're talking about a Washington Commander quarterback that's a running quarterback and is mobile and athletic and all the great things that remind, unfortunately, that city of a quarterback that was electric in Robert Griffin III. So, look, I still think that he is going to have a long career. I just think this is concerning to see. And I also think they got away with a better injury because this could have been a throwing arm. Like, give me the other arm any day.
Yeah.
Like, this is actually
Diana, don't
okay.
even say it. Whoa.
Yeah, don't say it. No, I get what you're saying. But here's my thing about here's my thing, Diana, what you said, and I know this is what you're hearing. When you watch, and these scouts have watched every single snap of college film of Jayden Daniels, going back to his ASU days, he was not injury prone. And I would say the one thing about his game was, yes, his build was definitely questioned. There's no doubt about that. My thing is, when you watch the film of him, even going back to his first year, he doesn't ever get hit hard. This wasn't like a hit, like an injury from a hit. This was like a freak accident injury with him putting his hand on the ground and trying to brace it. I would say the opposite of that. It's like, it's so easy to say that. We weren't talking about it. But when you watch him, that was one of the things I remember writing down on my notepad. I'm like, this dude never gets hit hard, because if he did get hit hard, he's almost like a Lamar Jackson. Like, do you ever see Lamar Jackson just take a full on straight up, like just hit?
Lamar's huge
because he's so slippery. Lamar is bigger. Yeah. And I would say the build is right, but I would say that was probably one of his like better parts of his game is like, okay, he does take some sacks, but he's a pocket passer that can run extremely well. He just doesn't get hit. So to see him get hurt like this, it's sort of sickening. Honestly, it sucks.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I think he had two different issues with a high ankle sprain in college, Chase, and a concussion. I think that was it for as many games as he played in college. So that's pretty healthy. Let's get to two other quarterbacks who we always cross our fingers that they stay healthy, because the game's just more fun with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, and they do a great job of staying healthy. And they gave us another one. It was the game everybody was waiting for in Week 9, 28-21. The Buffalo Bills come out on top. Patrick Mahomes, Chase, played maybe his worst regular season game in terms of the numbers. 44% completion rate for this game. 15 of 34 he went without a touchdown, interception, 3 sacks. Still just a one-score game. I'm going to get to what I want to dissect each team with, but initial take, Chase, just from a quarterback perspective before we get into this on this game between these two teams.
Initial perspective was exactly what you said. Thought Patrick Mahomes just throwing the football down. They were trying to throw the football down the field. Didn't play his best. In fact, one of his worst, if not the worst games throwing the football that I've seen him. The interception was like sort of a last gasp. I'm not worried about that. I just think the Bills defensively had such a good plan for Patrick Mahomes, and it's really hard to stop that offense, because you haven't seen that offense been stopped in quite some time. I still do think they're probably, this is hot take, I guess, probably one of the best teams in the NFL. I know that the Bills beat them, and I know, you got to give credit to the Bills. And then you go to the other side of the ball. I mean, Josh Allen, I'm pretty sure he set a record for completion percentage, just really efficient. The Josh Allen we've come to know and love. But I would say the biggest story out of the game is the Bills defense stopping Patrick Mahomes. But it's been impressive to watch Josh Allen last night, because he always seems to get past Patrick Mahomes in the regular season, right? They're 5-1. What's his record, James, in the postseason against one of the baby goat, as we like to call him?
I believe he's 0-5.
0-5, right? So I go back and forth on this, guys. I'm like, I'm excited for Buffalo, and I think this win for Buffalo they've sort of haven't played a lot of really good teams, and I think it can vault you in the right direction. They're right in play for the 1 seed. I think they're going to be around for that at the end of the year. Then you look at Mahomes and the Chiefs, and you're like, hey, man, they're 5-4. They're outside of the playoffs. I'm like, well, guys, is there any doubt in your mind that come Thanksgiving time, they're going to be right in the thick of the playoff race and right in the driver's seat for the 2 or 3 seed? I don't know if 1 seed's possible now, but it just seems like that's sort of where it's going. Maybe I'm the only one.
No,
that's a great transition, Chase. Great transition, Chase, because I want to get to this, Diana. You first, and then Chase follows you on both the Chiefs and then the Bills. Chase mentioned the postseason, Diana, and how these teams could very well meet again when everything's on the line in the postseason. What is one thing you'd like this Chiefs team to improve on by the next time potentially they face the Bills? It could be an acquisition. Trade deadline's around the corner. Maybe you're hearing something. It could be an aspect of them as an organization, a position group, what it is. What do the Chiefs need to improve on by the next time they could potentially face the Bills or be in the postseason?
Guys, I can tell you that the Bills are calling around the league right now for a wide receiver. They're also looking on the defensive side of the ball. But if I was Brandon Beane, the general manager of the Buffalo Bills, and I had a wish list, I would be calling the Miami Dolphins. I'd be calling owner Stephen Ross, who's running the show there now, and say, give me Jaylen Waddle. That is the receiver that I think that could put us over the top and would certainly make our quarterback very, very happy. I just think the price is probably way too high for Buffalo, but that would be on my wish list for Buffalo in terms of
Josh Allen's wish list too.
I know, right? And then for Kansas City up after, I do think defensive line. I think that is where they need to improve. That's what they're doing, and that is where we're seeing. I almost feel like they're taking a step back this year up front, and Chris Jones doesn't look the same. He hasn't really broken out yet. So I think they need some help stopping the run.
All right. Give me something for each team, Chase.
Well, I mean, Diana hit it. I think that the Chiefs, let's start with the Chiefs. I just think that they need to be better in one-score games. I don't know what you can do to help that, right? I think they're 0-4, 0-5 in one-score games this year, James. I'm not a
pendulum has swung back the other direction. Yeah.
I'm not a statistician, but it's one of those things where it's easy to say defensive line, right? Because I feel like there's a lot of different people you can go out and get. They're just not getting the pass rush. And so Spags is having, I feel like, to pressure a little bit more than even he wants to. And then there are gaps in the middle of the field that the Bills were able to take advantage of. So I guess I'd go defensive line. I mean, I just don't think their offensive line played very well last game, to be completely honest with you. And they also need a run game. I can't imagine them going out and, when I say run game, the run game for them has been good. In fact, I would say, like, going into last game, the previous 4 to 5 games, they've been rushing for over 130 yards a game and averaging like 32 or 33 carries a game. Now, I know Mahomes is in that, but I would say maybe running back, Bruiser, I don't think they're going to do that. They have Kareem Hunt. They just need their guys to play better. And then with the Bills, I mean, receiver, we've been talking about it, for a couple years now. It's just like, at what point is there going to be this stud receiver that comes in and just saves the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen from doing all this other stuff? But when James Cook is running the ball, that's when they're at their best. When Josh Allen is playing off script and not trying to be Superman, that's when he's at his best. But you need a number one true receiver to beat man-to-man, to beat press coverage. And, I mean, Jaylen Waddle, come on down. Oof. Like, that is, let's go. That'd be amazing.
I'd like a camera on Josh Allen's face if that deal went down, Diana. Brandon Beane finding a way to get Jaylen Waddle, and just look with the grin be on Josh Allen's face. I'm with you guys. I think one of the biggest things, and it kind of wasn't mentioned but was by the both of you, is if you can stop the run, if you're the Chiefs, you keep Patrick Mahomes on the field longer. You saw what the Bills are able to do running the football. There's some of these other teams in the AFC that run the football very well, and it's going to keep your high-powered offense off the field if these teams can run the football effectively. And I saw Joey out there, guys, doing kind of similar to what Brandon Beane thought Von Miller was going to do when he acquired him a couple years back. Bosa was out there getting after.
Joe was having a year, man.
He really is. Good point.
I wasn't sure about that when it happened, but he has showed up. And I felt like Sean McDermott's fingerprints were just all over this game plan too. They were aggressive. They were organized. They were physical. Like that is like the Sean McDermott way. And I think this is just a reminder of what the Bills should look like when they're not only healthy, but when they're connected. And this is the version they want to be. And you're right. If I can be GM and get Jaylen Waddle, then I deserve some credit, guys. It's not going to happen, but you never know. You never know.
You're doing it. Shout out to Cole Bishop on the back end, too, on that defense. Played outstanding on Sunday night. Real quick before we move on, Chase, an all-22 look at, we're talking about the receivers that we would potentially like to add at the boundary for Josh Allen, but we know he still has some dynamic tight ends. And we know that they went off, specifically Dalton Kincaid at this game. Show this to me.
Yeah, look, 6 catches, 101 yards for Dalton Kincaid, 1 touchdown. And you're going to see him down here. They're going to motion over. Look at this. Look at this running back out so wide. They do that because they want to make sure, is it man or zone? Is it pressure? Is it anything? They have 2 underneath routes. And look, I understand that the safety covering Dalton Kincaid fell down. So you're like, Chase, why are you showing me this? But it's the fact of the matter is, when Josh Allen needs to play in the red zone, specifically, he's not looking at Shakir. He's not looking at Elijah Moore. He's not looking at Keon Coleman. It's Dalton Kincaid, and he's just staring him down because he's such a good route runner. Like, you have Drew Tranquil. I love Drew Tranquil.
I love Drew.
23.
Smart player.
The way they're able to get to this formation, they motion over. Now they make sure man to man, a guy who is not a cover guy is covering Dalton Kincaid. So it's not really a throw, right? It's one of those like, hey, Joe Brady in his bag. Let's figure it out. Let's motion over. Let's do this shift. Let's make sure we get man. And I mean, as soon as they got man, it's like Josh Allen lights went off and was like, hey, this is an easy touchdown. Just such a good route by Dalton Kincaid.
I love it. I love it. Listen, we don't have a whole lot of question marks when Josh Allen's on a field that team can kind of really go out there and make plays and have something happen. Same thing with Patrick Mahomes. But there's three other teams in the AFC that have maybe surprised all of us when it comes to the Colts, the Broncos, and the Patriots. Now, two of those teams won. One of those teams lost, which was the Colts. And we'll start with them, which was a surprise to a lot of people because this defense with the Pittsburgh Steelers has been struggling of late over the last couple of weeks. And they go out there and force 5 turnovers in this game from Daniel Jones. Very uncharacteristic from this Colts team. I want to know, how much do you still trust this Colts team, Dianna, after this game? Was this an outlier or was this an exposure in a sense?
I think it was an outlier because they were outside, right? We've seen them play indoors multiple
That's
times.
true.
Right?
No, you're right.
Jeez, I actually want to ask you that. And I've asked players over the years, but I'd like a fresh thought on it. Players prefer it indoors, correct? Like you just a more controlled environment.
Everything's the same. Everything's the same.
Significantly better though? Like, are you just
It depends on weather though. And it depends on I wouldn't say crowd noise. It depends on weather. Like I remember when I was with the Saints and Sean Payton, we would always practice inside, even if we were going outside the first couple of years, and we sucked on the road in the elements. And it wasn't like crazy weather in Pittsburgh. But when you are in a dome, right, it's 72 and sunny, it's controlled, there's no weather, like anything like that. And I have seen, and people have seen, like dome teams that go on the road usually aren't as good because there's just something about playing outside that is different. It's hard to explain. But obviously the elements weren't crazy. Yeah, I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Well, Daniel Jones isn't quite Peyton Manning, but it is one of those things for sure. Like players, I mean, yeah, especially kickers. That was the one that was like, the kickers are so prima donnas. Yeah. It's like, oh, if there's any type of win, or like licking their, like, what are we doing inside? And it's just like, but yeah, definitely matters.
My comparison in my mind, this is so ridiculous, but last year we did our fall photos like outdoors, like on this bridge by a barn. It was a goddamn nightmare to take photos with these children outdoors. But when we did it in a studio inside, easy peasy, controlled environment, nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. So that's how I'm going to look at this moving forward. Anytime a football team is playing outside that's used to playing indoors, they're in trouble. They're jumping off the bridge like Mikey was trying to do. So no, that makes all the sense in the world. So, but I'm not panicked about the Colts. I would like to see them before the Tuesday trade deadline get a corner. I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation with teams around the league lately about the things that they need that just are not available. That's the hard part about this. Everybody has these positions, but where are you going to get them? But that's like the one area where I think they need to improve. But to just put a bow on it, I just think, yes, Daniel Jones has consistently played very well this season, our comeback player of the year, at least mine for now. But with Jonathan Taylor not having a big game, that affects this entire offense. I keep using the comp of this team being a lot like Philadelphia last year. It's like when Saquon was great, Philly was great. And it reminds me of that. So just Jonathan Taylor just not having a blockbuster game, I think just hurts this Colts offense.
Yeah. Okay.
Chase, let me get on to the Broncos real quick. Once again, it was just like, hey, Bo, can we wait till the fourth quarter? And then you can be the Bo Nix that we all want you to be, which has been a case a lot of games this season. But I look at it like this, and this is the exact question of how I want to ask it to you from a quarterback perspective. He seems to have, and when I ask opposing coaches that have gone against him, this kind of poise in the fourth quarter late. Nothing seems to faze him. He does have this moxie. He does have this competitiveness, kind of the gene everybody's looking for to make sure a guy stays calm, heart rate's low in big moments, but finds a way to make big plays. Is it okay that he has that now and then he's working on the other stuff? Like that's already there? Is that a nice thing to have in his back pocket as he's still trying to figure out what we're seeing in terms of some accuracy issues, seeing some things, all different types of stuff that's he's kind of going through in year 2. Is it nice that he just has this in his back pocket? What do you take out of this?
Yeah. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, James, you can't really coach that. And that Sean Payton would tell you that, right? It's like one of those things where, hey, you have this knack of making big plays in big parts of games to help your team win. And some people and some quarterbacks, they're just better with the game on the line. And I think Bo actually is that way. Now, he does need to start the game faster. He does need to get more accurate throwing the football. I mean, I look at the Cowboys game, the one where he's trying this no-look pass and he gets intercepted on the first series of the game. And then, look, this Texans defense, they're no joke. And I like in this whole thing is like, hey, it's not just the Bo Nix show, but he's the one running the ship. When he's playing well and then when he's playing with tempo and when he's running the ship, they all play better. It's just this is going to go down, James, as one of the games where if the Broncos are in contention for the 1 or 2 seed come December, you're going to look at this game and you're going to be like, man, these are games that those number 1 and number 2 seeds, they win. The Broncos played about as poorly on offense as you could, yet they still found a way to win against one of the better defenses in the NFL. And I think that's what I'm most not surprised, I guess, with this team. But they've found a way to win tight games. They really should have won the Colts game, right? And leverage all that stuff. And I just think that this is a team learning how to win games like this. They're going to blow out some people, but when you're in tight games, I think it's calibrating for playoffs, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Okay, you guys have seen Batman 1989. Let's do this real quick before we go to break. It's the only Batman that matters. Don't at me. You got Jack Nicholson going down the street. Prince is playing. Who do you trust? I'm giving away free money, right? Do you trust the Joker? Who do you trust? Who do you trust out of these 3 quarterbacks the most with these teams? Daniel Jones, Drake May, or Bo Nix? I should have dressed as the Joker for this. Diana, who do you trust the most out of these 3 right now?
I'm going to go with Drake May, only because I think he has been the most consistent. He's got the right coaching around him. No knock on Sean Payton, and obviously no knock
Shane
Steichen. This is just more about the momentum that the New England Patriots have at this point with putting 6 straight together. I just have more beliefs that they can figure it out because it seems that every week, even when Drake May isn't playing well, by the way, like in that game against the Falcons, they find ways to win. And that to me is always telling of a team that's actually very good.
Okay. I like that.
It's a good question or a good answer. I think I'm going to probably go Drake May as well. For all the reasons Diana said, I just think that the growth he's shown from year 1 to year 2, it's been impressive. And let's be honest, like I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but the people and players that Drake May is doing this with compared to the other guys on the list you said, you got to give them credit for it because they aren't world beaters outside. They don't have some amazing run game. Their offensive line isn't the best in the league. Their defense isn't the best in the league, but they've won because of Drake May almost every single game. And that is so hard to do at quarterback. You look at Daniel Jones on that list, he's played exceptionally well. I'd say he's played almost great. Jonathan Taylor's should be leading MVP, right? That defense is making plays. Look at the Denver Broncos, one of the best defenses in the entire league. You can't really say that about the Patriots. It's really the Drake May show. And if Drake May wasn't there, I don't know how many wins the Patriots would have.
Okay, I like that. And you're exactly right. It's the money downs that he's been great on, Chase. 3rd and 4th down, he's been unbelievable. Throws the football downfield better than anybody else in football. And when he faces pressure, he's been outstanding. And you look at the Broncos, they have a J.K. Dobbins, a top 5 running back. The Colts have, the leading back in the league, and Jonathan Taylor. Where are those backs that Drake May's playing with right now? They're nowhere near the other 2 teams. We're going to switch over to the NFC when we come back with Scoop City on a Monday. We're going to talk about maybe some other teams in the NFC. How much do we trust them? Say maybe the Packers. Ooh, where's our trust level after that loss to the Panthers? And how about Philly and the move they made? Diana's going to break that down coming up next on Scoop City on a Monday. Welcome back to Scoop City on a Monday. James Palmer, Dianna Russini, Chase Daniel with you. Listen, we saw the Seahawks steamroll. We saw the Rams go out, and earlier in this show, Chase did say Matthew Stafford may be playing the best football of his career. So right now, those two teams are playing great. They don't have as many question marks as the ones we're going to talk about. We do have some thoughts on three teams in the NFC that we kind of want to dissect, similar to what we just did with three teams in the AFC. But we're going to start with the team that was on a bye, the defending Super Bowl champs. They have made multiple moves, Dianna, and they ended up getting 2 additions to their secondary. And we knew they weren't going to be done. And they get the pass rusher that they've been looking to add. Why did they go out and add Jaelan Phillips specifically when there were other pass rushers that they could potentially win after? What was the fit? What was the reason?
Yeah, we've heard the name Jaelan Phillips for a while now. I'd say over the last week or so. And the Eagles weren't the only team calling Miami looking for Phillips. The 49ers made a call. The Patriots made a call. So there were definitely teams poking around. And the price for Jaelan Phillips was the hang up for a lot of these teams, including the Philadelphia Eagles. That was not what they were looking for. Howie Roseman was trying to get that price lowered down a bit there. But in the end, I think he understood that this is a significant need for this Eagles defense. It's like no secret, especially when you talk to people in Philadelphia, like, what are you guys looking for? Everyone's like, we need an edge rusher badly. We need it. So they were able to get that done. It was actually done Sunday night. And now it seems that, look, I don't put it past Philadelphia in terms of the trade deadline making another move. But I know over the last week or so being able to add these 2 players during the bye, they definitely feel better as they get back to it.
Yeah, they're on a bye. They get better. They add to their roster. And the other 2 teams, Chase, that we're looking at, the Lions and the Packers, they both lose. What's your take on the Lions, who just over the last couple of weeks, we're sitting here going, this is pretty complete again. The questions we had at the coordinators is no longer a question. We're seeing Jared Goff playing great. Aiden Hutchinson's got a new bag. What's the situation with the Lions? Are you just thinking, hey, this just didn't go their way? What specifically happened in this game that either gives you concern or makes you go, okay, maybe somebody was coaching pretty well on the other side of the ball?
I think it had more to do with what KOC and Brian Flores did to them offensively and defensively. And look, the Lions, I still think they're a really good football team. I still think all the pieces are in place for them. But when you are at home and you go on and you get sort of beat down like it was, and it was a close game, but physically, you look at the Brian Flores defense and everything that he was able to do with internal pressure, 5-man fronts, a lot of cross dog, which means you have 2 backers off the ball and they're crossing as they're blitzing. And it was just time and time again. Jared Goff faced quick pressure. And if I've seen anything about Jared Goff throughout his career, is he's played extremely well most of the time. The only 2 times he hasn't played extremely well. One is outside in the elements, is usually when he struggles the most. This was obviously indoors. And the other is if you can get pressure on Jared Goff early in the game and you can get it often, there's just something about him. And there's something about quarterbacks in general when they get hit early or pressured. Forget about the sacks. As long as if you're feeling pressure in the pocket, there's just some stuff that goes wrong, some decision making that maybe wasn't his best. And just overall, you got to give it, and you got to give a game ball to Brian Flores. So if you're Lions fans, like, look, you got to get that figured out. You got to get that picked up. I just didn't expect for Flores and that defense to get as much pressure with that offensive line that the Lions have as quickly as he was. So that's really the one thing I come around from that game, like, okay, like, Lions, you're going to be fine. You got to fix that part of it, though.
I get it. Listen, I got to say this just because you brought it up. Jared Goff playing outside, Dianna, right? It's always brought up all the time about like Jared Goff playing there, and everybody brings up his hand size. Chase, is it weird, like, if it just people bring up the size of your hands on a regular basis as a quarterback? Like, is it just, it's just got to be uncomfortable? It's not something.
It's got to be uncomfortable. There's no doubt about it.
No, it's just, I don't take it. All right, the other team that ends up losing out of this group is the Packers. They lose on a last-second field goal to the Panthers. Dianna, it seems like it's been something that Green Bay has done. It's like Jekyll and Hyde. They play down to their competition. They lose 16-13 in this one, which we do want to give Carolina, by the way, a little bit of credit. Dave Canales and Bryce Young starting to play a little bit better. They're running the football very, very well with Rico Dowdle. Did you take anything away from this Packers game, Dianna, and specifically how they come out on the other end of it?
Oh, Chase and I have had a lot of conversations, especially over the last year, about Jordan Love at the quarterback spot. And I think, Chase, we've been in agreement, right? That we think he's a stud, and we think he's just improving and getting better and more comfortable. And watching this game was the first time this season where I started to have a little anxiety about Jordan Love. And that's why I'm glad you're on today, because I wanted to see if you are feeling the same thing. Do you still have that same regard for him as we've had all season? Did anything in that game change the way you view his play?
Wow. I didn't think of it from
I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that. It just, I almost texted you.
I think it's a good question. I think that, first of all, it's an unforgivable loss. Like the Packers are so much better than the Panthers. And this is credit to where credit's due, because the Panthers defense, the last 3 or 4 games, has been balling. Their run game has been better. And I don't necessarily put it all in Jordan Love. Look, they had 3, I think, turnovers going into the year on the entire season offensively, and they had 2 this game. And the biggest part of the game wasn't a Jordan Love play. It was LaFleur not kicking a field goal on 4th and 8 from the Carolina 13-yard line. And if he just takes the points, what do we say, guys? Take the points. Carolina Panthers are kicking a field goal to tie the game. And so it's these small decisions within a game when you're at home. But like, I feel the same, to answer your question. I feel the same, that he's still a stud, that he is playing well. It's not going to help that his number one weapon, Tucker Kraft, is out. I mean, that sucks. But I still think the Packers at the end of the year, they're still going to be up there with some of the better teams in the NFL.
Yeah, I think with these 3 teams, and I'm going to ask you to answer this in 30 seconds or less, which team, that's not like a real game show host there, which team are you most concerned about out of this week 9? We had questions about the Philadelphia Eagles, but they do have a bye, and they do seem like they get better as a roster, and they maybe even play a little bit better. The Lions lose to the Vikings. We have the Packers lose to the Panthers. I'm very concerned about the Tucker Kraft injury, ACL, done for the year. He has been the explosive aspect of this team, and down the seam in the screen game, yards after the catch. He's been incredible. So who are you most concerned about with these 3 teams in the NFC after what transpired with each of them in week 9? Dianna, 30 seconds or less, go.
It's like pick your chaos division, right? Minnesota looks frisky, but kind of incomplete. Detroit can't close. Green Bay can't start. It's like everyone's got their own set of issues. But I would say for me, I'm probably... They won, so it makes no sense on why I would be concerned about Minnesota. I just want to see more from JJ McCarthy. This was spectacular of him, right? And Kevin O'Connell called a great game, and everything from the start to the end this was exactly what they've been looking for. But I want to see it again, right? Like, this is like just consistently put these together. So I would say my concern is them, because I just don't know enough. Whereas the rest, I feel like they can sort that out.
Okay, Chase. Again,
so who am I picking from?
You can pick from the Eagles. You can pick from the Dianna pick from the Vikings, or the Lions, or the Packers.
I'm not worried about the Lions. I think they'll be fine. I'm not worried. I'm actually not. I think the most unknown of the group is Minnesota, right? And I think that's probably a good answer with Dianna. I'm sort of worried. I'm with Jay. Like, the Packers for me are a little bit, but I think probably JJ McCarthy isn't as worrisome as I would think, because there are some good things there in his game, and the Packers shouldn't have lost that game. So I guess I'll go the Packers. Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, I like it. You mentioned JJ McCarthy, which is a great transition, Chase. I like that nobody apparently is panicking about the Philadelphia Eagles in this group anymore, maybe because we all just got to relax, and they did as well, and hang out with Dianna. We'll get to that. But Chase, this is a great transition to JJ McCarthy and some all-22 film you have on him. Yes, he went out there and only completed 14 passes. But I would say if you watch this game, there were definitely some clutch throws. There were definitely some spots in the game where it was put on him to make a play, and he did. break this down for us, because again, if people are just looking at the stats, they're going, what did JJ McCarthy do in his return? I think you have to look at it a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I do. I think you do. And a couple things about JJ McCarthy that stands out to me. One is like the first 2 drives of the game, 2 touchdown passes. So he started really fast. They played a lot of man coverage. When you play a lot of man coverage in the NFL, it's really difficult to go through progressions because you have one man route beater and you have another as maybe can you get to him. And this is a play that I thought stood out, not necessarily from JJ's side, but from TJ Hawkins' side. You're going to see him right here on the right side of your screen. TJ Hawkins sees number 12, the safety, and just sort of stops. And then for JJ McCarthy and TJ Hawkins to be on the same page in the red zone where they're playing the single high zone defense, like everything's covered, he stops and he's like able to just like the throw was extremely accurate. And I think that's something that you need to give JJ a lot of credit for because he hasn't practiced a lot. He hasn't played a lot. I think this is his 3rd career start, if I'm not mistaken. So he does have a long way to go, but for them to get a win when he's on the road in a game that they needed to win big time. I mean, the defense is still good. They're coming off, a 14-15 win team. They haven't lost a lot of pieces. They've added some. It's just the whole question mark was the quarterback. I know the stats don't say it, but he played a lot better than I think a lot of people say.
I think you're exactly right. You know, it's interesting. He hadn't practiced as a full participant, Chase, in back-to-back days.
There you go.
Since week 1 up until this week leading into this game. So they wanted to see him stack some practice days. You've talked so much about reps and how much that matters in putting things together. And you saw it on the field a little bit in that one. Coming up as we close out this Monday edition of Scoop City, we're going to talk about Halloween. We're going to talk about decorations. When do you keep them? When do you put them down? And also, the Philadelphia Eagles didn't go against the defense. They did something far more difficult. They had to hang out with Dianna Russini this weekend. Interesting. More on Scoop City on a Monday. Closing out of Scoop City on a Monday. James Palmer, Dianna Russini, and Chase Daniel with you. Dianna, let's just say it. I'm checking through the Instagram this weekend, Chase. I'm looking through it. All of a sudden, Diana's dressed to the nines. She and Kev are out there just woo hoo hoo.
You guys liked it? You like Kev cleaned up, right?
I thought Kev looked great personally, and I even looked down.
Nice clean shave.
Nice. Finish. Oh yeah, the kicks were clean. Yeah, everything. What did we do
good job.
That we were so dressed wonderfully?
Well, Saturday night was very, very fancy for my household. We were invited to Saquon's charity event in Philadelphia, and this thing was tremendous in terms of just the fanciness of it and the people that were there. Jalen Hurts. We saw obviously Saquon was everywhere. I saw a bunch of guys from Penn State. It was great, and it was fun to get dressed up.
Oh, there they are. Hey, there he is. Sunglasses on the inside.
Yeah, he wore sunglasses all night. He's so cool. Like he can get away with that.
And that collar's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. I didn't notice it in person when I was talking to him. And then I looked at it and I'm like, that is so cool. Yeah, he is great. It's funny. Like the first thing he said to me when he saw me was like, "Are you working?" I'm like, "No, I'm just hanging here. I'm supporting some charity here because it was for a really good cause." And Saquon was glowing all night, and like he loves Philadelphia. He loves giving back, and I think this was really important to him and his family. Just watching them work the room and talk to different people. It was very entertaining. So yeah, it was a good time. And then I slept for a few hours and got over to MetLife Stadium the next morning for 49ers Giants. So it was a very chaotic 24 hours for us, but it was good.
It was. Yeah. Mac Jones was the exact opposite of you. He was looking physically, bloody nose and all, very different than you guys dressed up, but he was dominating out there. Mac Jones, by the way, shout out to him the way he's playing Phil. He's got a long stretch for Brock Purdy. He's been playing awesome, Chase. What were you going to say something, Diana?
I was going to talk about the MetLife field a little bit. Like I just feel like the 49ers, they just can't get away from this injury bug. I was talking to Trent Williams for a while before the game. Just about this feeling of like they can't catch a break. They can't, and this is a team that they're making calls now. They're calling Miami. They're calling the Jets. They're calling the Bengals. They're calling everyone right now to try to find someone on defense to help them out because they are decimated. Robert Saleh is I was going to say losing his hair, but he has none. He's
worst.
Begging this front office to get him some players. They can
When's
only do
Brock
something.
Purdy coming back?
He was supposed to be back for this game, right? But I think the MetLife Field played a role in this. I think
Really?
management, yeah,
That's wild.
They were super worried about it. Like the turf is better. Like even Kittle was talking about it post game. He's like, you don't want to be the butt of all jokes as the field that stinks. But look, they had those awful injuries back in 2020. Remember when Nick Bosa tore his ACL originally. So look, they're able to figure it out, which is why Kyle Shanahan is still my coach of the year, because they were able to leave New York with a win.
It's a good pick.
They need help. I expect them to make some moves.
Okay. Well, we have a short amount of time to make some moves. Real quick, we have a short amount of time to make our final moves. How quickly do you guys take down your Halloween decorations, and how quickly are we putting things up for Christmas in the winter season, in that holiday season?
We don't decorate for Halloween. We have a pumpkin outside. That's all we do.
A pumpkin. You have multiple children.
So,
a pumpkin.
yeah.
They all share it. Do they
you
take
have to understand, he lives in the most heavenly place on the planet in San Diego. So he doesn't get that feeling of fall and, cozy and fire pit. Like that's why I don't think they decorate. Am I right, Chase? Like you don't, because
you're a real life indoor quarterback.
Well,
you're living an indoor quarterback lifetime.
We are actually all fully outdoor. We are fully outdoor here. It's 75 and sunny right now in San Diego. So yeah, we don't really decorate for Halloween. But if it was like this pumpkin's going to be smashed tomorrow, it's November 4th tomorrow. And then as far as Christmas decorations go, like I know, and I actually have some friends. Okay, and shout out to Zach Line, who is the assistant special teams coach for the Denver Broncos. James, he was a fullback for Sean Payton in New Orleans, and we know each other really well. We were teammates together, and our wives know each other. They have 4 kids. They are one of the families that legitimately at midnight or 12:01 a.m. on November the 1st, they have a full house of Christmas decorations. Like tree, mistletoe, snow. It looks like a Christmas wonderland, and like good for them. They like it, but I don't want that. Like the right amount of time for me, December 5th, 20 days of Christmas. There we go.
Okay. I like that your kids have a timeshare.
That just seems crazy.
They all get it for a couple of hours as they all share one pumpkin. Dianna,
they're going to smash it tradition for you.
I think my boys are going to have a hard time putting the pumpkins away because they love it. They're still playing goblins and ghosts in our house. They love Halloween. Look, we went to the mall for a little bit on Sunday, and it was a Christmas wonderland. And I got to tell you, I felt weird. Like they were excited, because that just means Santa. I'm not ready. I like to enjoy these next 3 weeks before Thanksgiving, and the idea of it, the anticipation of these holidays are way better, but I don't need 2 months of anticipation for Christmas. Let me just get through the next few weeks. I feel like the year's flying already, like I can't believe
it is
November.
flying.
So when do you put up your
don't skip out on fall?
I'll put my Christmas tree up probably the first week of December, and then we take it down on the 26th. Kev's like a lunatic. He wakes up.
You were one of those guys.
He's got that thing in the driveway, and he's like, clean this damn house, lady. Because the pine needles, which by the way, he doesn't say any of that.
You go real tree.
Clean it.
You go real tree.
Wait, you go fake?
Yeah.
Well, you guys are so soft. You are the softest podcasters in the business.
Pod.
I think we're going fake this year too.
Let's just. Oh, there you go. Take the transition.
We discussed it. We discussed it because it does get like the pine needles are everywhere. I can still find them in between the cracks of my floor.
The massive advancements that have gone on in the world of artificial illumination are groundbreaking over the last couple of years. It's been unbelievable. Come on over to the dark side, Dianna. There's plenty of room for you to throw that tree up. And guess what? It's really easy to put away as well on the 26th for Kev. That's Dianna Russini. That's Chase Daniel. James Palmer here. Monday was dynamite. We'll be back Wednesday with all the fallout from the trade deadline about what went on across the NFL, what deals maybe almost happened, what ones did happen, and how did they impact both sides. We'll have all of that for you on Scoop City on Wednesday. Take it easy.
Thanks for watching Scoop City. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and feel free to leave a comment. New episodes of Scoop City drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.